Tommy Daniels here, pleased to be joined by the newest member of the Allen Americans and our first goaltender announced here, I guess. We're in the fall now, Chris. Normally we would be starting hockey right now, but with COVID,
Exactly.
everything is a little bit crazy. Welcome to Allen.
Yeah, it's good to be there.
Has anybody ever told you, and I think when I looked at your hockey DB picture yesterday, has anybody ever told you look like Jack Eichel?
I actually have never gotten that.
When I saw that picture yesterday on Hockey DB, I thought, oh man, here's Jack Eichel's lookalike. That's a pretty good comparison, huh?
I might have to use that now.
That's awesome. Well, talk about your career. Let's start, first of all, you're born in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yep.
So you got to be a Packers fan, right?
Yeah. Born and raised. I actually live about 10 minutes from the stadium now, so I think growing up in Green Bay, you have no choice. You have to be a Packers fan.
All right, give me the whole tailgate experience. I grew up in Buffalo, and I think our tailgate experience is pretty good with the Bills Mafia. But I heard Green Bay is second to none. Give me a rundown.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. It feels like you know everyone there. Everyone just opens up their tailgate to just about anybody walking by, and you can grab a burger from random people. And it's just I would say it's just more like friendly. It seems like it's just one big tailgate instead of a bunch of people tailgating separately, kind of thing.
All right, tough question here for you. I know you were young, but are you a Favre guy or are you a Aaron Rodgers guy?
I'm both. So I grew up watching Favre, obviously, and saw like all that, and then his way out of Green Bay. And I'm a Rodgers fan now too. I think I'm definitely both. It was fun to watch them both play.
It's amazing too what they've done, and not that we're going to sit here and talk about the Green Bay Packers, but when I thought you were Green Bay, Wisconsin, I thought I can't let you get away without talking a bit about the Packers.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, and obviously being in Green Bay, and we know the heritage of football there. Why was it hockey? Why didn't you play football?
I just a couple of my friends when I was in kindergarten decided to play and do the MIT program locally, and I told my parents that I wanted to go out and do it, and they kind of looked at me like, "Are you sure that's what you want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah." And ever since I hit the ice, I think I had no choice. Deep down, I knew that's exactly what I wanted to play.
Well, you played for a pretty good program there in Bowling Green State University. Talk about your time there, and you put up some amazing numbers. I was just looking at your goals against in the 15-16, 1.91. That's pretty sharp.
Yeah. I mean, that program was very very good for a while, and then obviously it kind of went through a little bit of a slump, and there's almost talk about cutting it. And Bergeron is who I committed to, and we kind of turned around. And Eigner, who's there now, they've done a really good job of just recruiting the right kids, and we just always had a good group there, and we found ways to just win and play as a team, and that was definitely a very fun time there.
Well, and you start out playing your pro career in the American League with Hartford.
Yep.
What's that like for a kid that it's tough enough at that AA level, but starting out AAA, what was that like?
It was fun. I mean, obviously, you kind of realize like how close you are and where you are in the leagues and stuff, and it's fun to try to bring your best every day, and you kind of just get a feel for how good players are even at that level, and it's just that kind of competitor in you that you want to come to the rink every day and compete and play at that level.
Goalie's kind of like the starting pitcher. On some nights, man, you're the hero. On other nights, you're the GOAT. It's a tough position, and it really takes a special person to play, between the pipes.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide that goaltending was the way you were going to go?
I was actually so the first year I played hockey, we rotated through the goalie, and I ended up being rotated in at the first game of a tournament, and I played well. So they kind of let me play the rest of that tournament, and then once like our state championships kind of came around, I played pretty much for the whole state championship, and I kind of realized that that's what I love playing. And I wasn't the best skater when I was younger, and so I went from I think Mite C to Mite A, just moving just to goaltending, and I don't know. I kind of just clicked that first game I played, and I kind of knew that that's what I wanted to pursue kind of growing up.
Was there any goaltender that you looked at growing up that you said, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that I want to emulate"?
Yeah, so I was a big Avalanche fan. I loved watching Patrick Waugh play. You know, he had that kind of flair and that passion and that compete level, and that's who I grew up kind of idolizing.
This is Chris Nell, recently signed by the Allen Americans, our first goaltender announced this year. What do you know about Allen? Obviously, the rich tradition in hockey here, but how much are you familiar with the Americans organization?
I just know that they've had a lot of success with winning, and they've just been a program that has kind of always found a way to win, and that's something that I want to do as my career kind of moves on is just win. I want to find ways to win and help win, and that's kind of what I knew kind of going into signing with Allen is the culture that they've built on. Uh, you know, if they're not winning, there's something wrong. So.
Right. Do you reach out to people when you're thinking about signing somewhere? Do you talk to somebody, maybe a former teammate or a guy that you know that's currently on the roster, and say, "Hey, what's it like to play there?"
Yeah, I think you kind of get a sense of things kind of playing even just throughout the years. You kind of talk to people, new people come in, new people leave, and you kind of get a sense of what a place and organization have and what's going on. And I've only heard good things from Allen, and can't beat the Texas Heat. So
Last year was a crazy year for, yeah, you mentioned the Heat, but last year was a crazy year for you. You started out in Greenville, wound up in Adirondack for a few, and then Atlanta for the remainder of the year. That's got to be rough on a player when you just get your bags unpacked, you think you're going to be somewhere, then you move on again. What's that like?
yeah, it's definitely tough. It's kind of you get a sense of almost like should I even unpack now? Like do I fully unpack and kind of get settled, or do I just kind of live out of my suitcase and kind of take it day by day? But I think the biggest thing you learn is just that, like obviously you can't take anything for granted, and you just have to show up to the rink every day and compete and have fun. And because if you're not having fun in those times, that's kind of when you start to realize that going to the rink isn't very fun. So I just kind of took it day by day and just learned to have fun and go to the rink and compete. And obviously there's a lot of good players and good guys, in every room, and that's kind of what you kind of latch on to.
Obviously, the off season was just crazy. It started earlier than normal in March because of COVID. Uh, Take us through your walk. What was it like? How much did you get to train? When did you finally get back on the ice?
Yeah.
What occupied most of your time during COVID?
Yeah, so like that first month and a half, I mean, nothing was open. Like gyms weren't allowed. I couldn't go down and skate with my goalie coach because of restrictions, he wasn't even able to open. So that first couple months was really just finding a way to do at home stuff and kind of go through whatever I had here. Was it, luckily I had a couple weights here that I've accumulated throughout the years, but it just kind of playing lots of video games and just doing at home workouts. And then luckily a couple months in, stuff started to kind of open up with masks. So I was able to get down and start skating again and things like that.
So, I mean, this thought popped into my head a few times over the last, month or so. Are you nervous at all about getting on a bus with 23 other people and traveling around the country with this COVID thing still going pretty strong?
Yeah, I think there's always that kind of thought in your mind that, depending where you're going and kind of things like that. But I think all the guys that are coming back this year that have signed up and are signed, that they want to play hockey, and I think we're going to take that seriously. And I think any way we can to kind of make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a bad spot to get our team shut down and not be able to play games, I think we're going to be doing that. And I think that's kind of in my mind where I'm thinking that we're going to have guys that want to play hockey, and obviously we're going to take the precautions necessary to kind of hopefully, I mean, obviously you never know, but hopefully kind of do everything right to make sure that we're in a good spot that we won't maybe even have to worry about it. So
I'll leave you here on a happy note with the Green Bay Packers again. Do you own a Cheesehead?
I do, but I don't know where it is. But I think
Oh,
I think at one point in your life, as a Packer fan living in Green Bay, you've accumulated at least one cheesehead.
I was hoping that you were going to say you would bring it with you. I've never seen one in person. I guess I'm lying because I've been to a Cowboys Packers game and I've seen it on the head of
Yeah,
many Packers fans, at the old Texas Stadium. But Man, that's awesome. And Green Bay, you're the first person actually I think I've ever met from Green Bay, or will meet soon when you get to Allen. But that's an awesome place. Tell us about your family quickly before we let you go.
Yeah, so it's me and my mom. She works in, I believe, the trust fund department in a bank, and we have a dog named Maverick, and he's just under a year old, and he's been an undertaking. We've kind of had this COVID break, and that's been fun and miserable all at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's exciting to have you on board. Fans kept asking, "Hey, when are we going to hear about a goaltender?" Because it was all forwards and D, and Chris enjoyed talking to you, and
You as well.
I guess maybe Jack Eichel looks more like you, right? You're I think you're just a little bit older than him, but when I saw that, I pointed it out to somebody in the office yesterday. He'd being a Buffalo guy,
Yeah,
I said, "Yeah, I said he looks just like Jack Eichel." So maybe you should come out and play forward at some point. And
maybe. I mean, the last time I played forward, I mean, I couldn't have been more than 10 years old, but I had a goal and assist, so maybe.
there you go. Chris, thanks again for doing this.
Yep.
Good
Thank you
luck to
very much.
the Packers. Are there? I guess they're on a bye week this
Yeah, they're
week.
on a bye week. They get to rest up this week, so
So, yep, you can too. Enjoy it, and we'll see you in Allen very, very soon.
can't wait. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Chris.
much.